All right. You are very welcome to yet another edition of our Fantasy Salary Cup update. It's all systems go. Game week 2 is almost over. We're just left with 1 day deadline. That is game day 7. Now, game day 6 has just concluded, and we're just a few hours away the conclusion of game day 7. Now, game day 6 didn't go as well for me. I only fielded 2 players. We shall see all this. A few updates on how the games went. All right, let's jump into it. So, today, game day 6, we had 6 games that kicked off with the Sacramento Kings taking on the Milwaukee Bucks, and of course we had Giannis Antetokounmpo's return in that one, and of course he led the way with 26 points in the game. But Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Schroeder, Sabonis all had 20 points in one game. They were not losing this one. It was a crazy game. Just 2 points ended up being the decider in this one. And of course, the Milwaukee Bucks lost that one due to the firepower that they displayed. I mean, these are 3 players. Schroeder is actually one of the players that I wanted to bring in, but his inconsistency, which ideally is, and of course his price as well was a bit too steep. But he's a good pick if you can, if you have the budget for him. He's one of those good ones that you can get in your team. So Zach LaVine consistently high up there. You see he's averaging 30, 40. Actually, when I look at Zach LaVine's current points per game, Zach LaVine, I'm just scrolling through here trying to get Zach LaVine. Okay, just a second. Well, Zach LaVine is actually doing well in this season. He's averaging 37 points per game. No, 29 actually. 29.5 points per game. That's Zach LaVine for you. So Zach LaVine. So you see he's doing well this season. He's one of the players that you can actually try to add to your team should you have need for him. Okay. So I'm just configuring something small here so that I can give you the updates that you need. All right, so Zach LaVine led the way right there. Giannis Antetokounmpo was not far off himself. Giannis Antetokounmpo is actually the second highest scoring player currently as we speak. He's averaging 34.2 points per game in the NBA. So he's actually someone you can build your team around. So he's very, very, very good. With those high averages, he's just in second place behind Tyrese Maxey, who is averaging 35.2. Then he's closely followed, of course, by the MVP, that is Shea, who was, I think, the leader last season, who is languishing at 34.2 right there. Okay, so right there, he managed to score 11 rebounds, 8 assists. He had only 1 block in the game. That's interesting. Okay. So, of course, the question is on who, as we go through, I would like you guys to guess who the player of the night was, as you see these updates coming through. So, Kyle Kuzma came through for him, but that is all he had. Kyle Kuzma, inconsistent. You shouldn't get that one. The one that I'm looking at was Rollins, but in this one, I would say it's consistent. I mean, he's averaging, let me see if I can get his points. Rollins is actually doing well. Ryan Rollins is actually not in the top 50, so which means he's less than 18 points per game. Okay, that is fine. That is fine, but it's still early days. These numbers switch and change over time. The more games they play, these averages go down, of course. And but he's a good budget pick. Rollins. I would advise you guys to get him if you have. Me, I've already used my free transfers, so I'm going to try to risk it at the end of the day. Then, of course, the Minnesota Timberwolves managed to beat Charlotte Hornets in that game, and Julius Randle was on fire. As always, he's taking up the mantle. He's actually scoring highly. So if you can, if you have your 30 million in the bank, you can bring him in. Naz Reid right there in second place for the Minnesota managed to scoop 23 points in that game. LaMelo Ball managed to get 44 points in the game after scoring 18 points. Miles Bridges, Miles Bridges with 49 right there, and scored 30 points in the game. Wow. But they ended up losing it anyway. Yeah. Then, of course, we had just maybe, before we go to the Golden State Warriors, we can just have a look at some of the highlights from the Milwaukee Bucks game. So that's how it tipped off. And of course, they started well because it was a close one. It was fought until the end, and of course, decided by just 2 points right there. They were just not willing to lose that one. So those are some of the highlights as you see right there. Yeah, Giannis Antetokounmpo in this game, of course, pulled off, managed to score 26. So we're going to skip towards the end. That's Rollins right there with a dunk. Wow! The high flyer, Ryan Rollins. That's the boy of the hour. He's actually playing well, and I'm looking forward to getting him. So that is Zach Lavine. Yeah, he's shooting a lot of mid ranges. He's actually very good. He's been a high scorer in this team. Actually, I would say he's the main guy. That is Schroeder. It is yet, of course, Sabonis himself, and then they made that basket. So the game goes on. We are going to see the last minutes of this game. So this is in the fourth with 5 minutes to go. Oh no, please don't freeze. Please don't freeze. That's Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma trying to. Giannis pulls off a three right there. He's actually made five. Okay, it's freezing. Sorry, my PC. That's something I need to invest in, and I will. Okay, we shall get back to the highlights. Just give my PC some time to recover. So that then of course we had the Golden State Warriors. They lost that game to the Indiana Pacers, and guess who? Aaron Naismith right there with the most points for the Indiana Pacers. He managed to grab 39 points in the game, and he scored 31 in the game against the Golden State Warriors. Of course, Pascal Siakam with 27 in the game and 47 fantasy assists. Stephen Curry himself right there, pulling off 31 fantasy points in this game. And currently, Stephen Curry is actually the 13th high scoring player in the NBA at this early stage of the season. He's averaging 30.9 or 26.9, sorry, 26.6 points in the NBA. So on average, he's scoring 26 points per game. So in this one, he managed to get 24, and that of course added up to 31 points in that game. Gerald Butler, Mr. Consistent and mid-range shooter. He's actually very good, and he's also good on the free throw line. Actually, look at all that. If you were to pick between Gerard Butler and Curry, I would say you go for Gerard Butler because he he his contribution basically is well rounded. He does rebounds, he does assists, he does blocks, he makes steals. So that's why he's actually scoring highly in fantasy points than Stephen Curry. Yet Stephen Curry, on average in the NBA, scores 26.6, whereas Jimmy Butler is currently at 21.4. 21.4. So you see, Gary Butler is scoring less, but just because he's a well-rounded player, he scores highly in fantasy points. So sometimes you don't look out for the star player. You can actually look at the general contribution of a player before you pick them and add them to your team. So this is Jonathan Kaminga. I actually have him in my team. He pulled 26 for me in this game, managed to score 17 points in that game and 5 rebounds. I'm actually going to ship him out at the end of this game week. I want to bring back Luka into the squad, and I fear his price is actually going to go up. I may end up actually thinking of taking a hit before the game day or immediately after the deadline of tonight's game day 7. I will be making my 2 transfers. Again, I'm going to have to do them early, just kind of to reset back to my original plan of having Luka in my team in the backcourt. So let's see if I can get you back those highlights. So here we are. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Wow. This man is a beast on the court. Actually, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's the second highest scorer in the NBA at the moment, and he's averaging 34.2 points. That's Rollins with Giannis. This Turner is actually doing so well, and I do believe he was a very good acquisition. You remember against the Golden State Warriors, he made that 3 right at the end, and of course it helped them. Now this is seconds to the deadline. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo, 22 points left. That's supposed to be a foul, but there was no foul right there. Now Schroeder with the ball, they're going to have to foul him, and they did. That's AJ. AJ fouls him. Schroeder converts. This man is an Olympian. He's very, very good for Germany. There he is. He makes his 2. Now they need. This is Rollins with the ball. Oh, sorry, not Rollins. They don't have much time. AJ with a shot, but it was too little, too late. Turner tries. Come on, Turner should have gone. Oh no. So there was a foul right there with just 1 second on the clock, and they are 3 points down. AJ makes the first one and misses the second one intentionally, but the rebound fails. The rebound failed. Interesting NBA highlights right there. So yeah, that was the Milwaukee Bucks taking on Sacramento Kings, but they ended up losing that one. And okay, so let's see if I can get you some more of these highlights. So now this is the Golden State Warriors game against Indiana Pacers. Now that is Gerard Butler. That's an and one. He's a well-rounded player. You should get Gerard Butler ahead of Steph Curry on any day, just so we can look at. Let me just compare the 2 for you. We shall come back to these highlights shortly. So looking at Gerard Butler, Jimmy Butler. I don't know why I'm saying Gerard Butler. I'm a movie watcher. So 13.5. That's it. Kyle. So that's an extra 2 points. 2 million between those 2 players. So you can save an extra 2 million and get Jimmy Butler into your squad. and get all those points. You can see he's actually averaging around 35 points per game. It's actually above 35 points per game when you look at that. In the game tonight, he managed to get 55 points, whereas Steph Curry got 31 points. So you see, there's some of the things you can look out for. He's a well-rounded player, a good well-rounded player. Well, this one was not close, so I'm not going to show a lot of the highlights. The other ones I showed you the highlights because it was a very close game. So then the Orlando Magic took on Washington Wizards. I have George in my team. He was the high scorer on his team, but they did terribly. They did terribly. He managed to get me 25 points in this game after scoring 17 in that one. But of course, Paulo Banchero, they couldn't handle Paulo Banchero, the Italian American right there, 15 million, managed to score 53 points in that one. So this one was a convincing one. They stood no chance. This man here, CJ McCollum, trying to get his legs under him and maybe hopefully can push and lead this team all the way. Then Franz Wagner right there scored 52. I think he's also getting back to his usual self because he averages 40 from last season. He was playing very well. So that's how that one went. Then, of course, Durant was back again against the Boston Celtics, and they stood no chance as he managed to score 26 points and get 40 for himself right there. Durant is not bad, but his salary is just too high, just too high. Amen Thompson right there with 42 in the game. And of course, Shangun with 53. There you go. Alpen Shangun, the Turkish born young man right there. Pritchard there managed to get 26. Was then this young man, this is actually one of the players that we are targeting. But as you can see, his price has gone up. He was 4.5. Now he's gone up 0.4. Wow, that's very high. Well, he managed to get us 30 points. He's actually someone you can look out for in the backcourt that you can bring into your team. Brown in this game, well, it's just one of those games. I guess he was tired or whatever. Just managed to score 12 points in that game after on the back of a 32, 30, 40. Well, I guess he just had one of those games for him. So they lost that 128 to 101. Then Cooper Flag was back yet again. Cooper Flag is actually pushing. He's Mr. Inconsistent. D'Angelo Russell right there managed to get 31 points in the game, 44 in total fantasy points. Wow, D'Angelo. Cooper Flag right there managed to score 35 in that one, 16 points in the game, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. Well, he has to do more because people like Edgecombe are not sleeping. AJ is not sleeping. So if he wants to be Rookie of the Year, he has to pull up. Then Duran in the game had 53 points and 53 fantasy points, and of course scored 33 in the game with 10 rebounds for himself, 2 assists and a block and a steal in that one. Then Cade Cunningham, Mr. Consistent. This is one of the players I encourage you guys, if you're to build a team, build it around this man. Look at that. The previous game as they played Orlando, he pulled 74, but of course Luka played in that one, so you know what happened. Then 72 again in this game, scoring 21, 18 assists, 3 steals in that game, and 6 rebounds. There you go for Cade Cunningham, and of course they won that one. Let's see, I think I have the highlights of that game. Just try to flip through. There it is. That's the run right there. Let's see if we can get something from that's Christie. Christie is actually a good 3-point shooter. He came, of course, you remember in that controversial trade that and LA Lakers, Luca, and of course we saw LB move to this team and a couple of other players. So Christie was among those. So that's Clay Thompson right there. Still has his legs under him. Cooper Flag trying to recover. Wow, that's Duran with an alley from Cade Cunningham. That's one of the 18 assists that he made in the game. That is Washington uses the shoulder to create some separation, and then this is Cade Cunningham. Oh, that was a turnover. Luckily, it bounces right. Duran right there. Remember, Duran scored highly in this game. Yeah, so that's Cooper Flag with the ball. He's actually playing a point guard right there with the stick. Yeah, so they actually did push them a bit. So I'm going to jump right to the fourth quarter with the last 5 minutes actually. That is D'Angelo Russell with a 3-pointer. D'Angelo Russell. So Cade, D'Angelo actually did play very, very well in this game. So that's Cade Cunningham trying to do his thing with Duran. Duran with a dunk right there. That's another assist for Cade. So everything goes through Cade actually in this game. That's why I'm saying if you're to build, you'd build with this man right there. That's a floater. Teardrop using the glass. D'Angelo pulls the ball. Robinson with a teardrop. That's an assist again for Cade. Now this is just 40 seconds with 9 points. That's Cade Cunningham with a 3. That's a dagger that did them in because that's 12 points. 11 points. 11-point lead, and that was it. Cade Cunningham had a double-double in this game, and that's how it went. That was the final game of the day, and of course concluded. Yeah, so as you see those reviews that we go through for the games, you can be guessing who you think the player of the day was. So looking at my lineup, I didn't do well. I only managed to field 2 players. Sorry, just the points is what we're looking at. So I'm actually even below average. So that's 51 points, and the average is at 95 points. So I only fielded 2 players in that game week, and that was Kaminga, who gave me 26 points in the game. Yeah, he played. Sorry, Kaminga gave me 26 points. Then on George gave me 25 points. So now, looking at the games tonight, before we look at my roster, we have a couple of games actually. If you're well sorted, you should be able to field 5 because this is a considerable number of games, and you should be able to have players, at least 4 of your squad to play tonight. So the New Orleans Pelicans will be taking on Oklahoma City Thunders. That will be the early tip-off game of the final game day, which is game day 7 of week 2 of the NBA. Then Philly will be taking on Brooklyn Nets. Then Utah Jazz will be taking on Charlotte Hornets. Atlanta Hawks will be taking on Cleveland Cavaliers. Memphis Grizzlies, Toronto Raptors. Then Chicago Bulls will be taking on New York Knicks. San Antonio Spurs will be taking on Phoenix Suns. San Antonio Spurs, the myth, will be taking on Phoenix Suns. Then Miami Heat will be taking on LA Lakers. Well, this is going to hurt me. It's just that I don't have Luca, and he's back and he's on fire. He's on fire. So I really, really hope I can bring him back as soon as possible. And I don't want to take a hit because 100 points is actually like a whole game day. It's a whole game day, so I will be pushing myself back a couple of days if I take a hit. So according to my squad, I can only field 4 players again in this one. I can't field more than that. Yeah, because I don't have that. Okay, I can field him, but I don't think he's going to play. That's the only problem. But just in case he is there. So that is my team. I'm hoping Wemby and Reeves pull through for me, and these brand new rookies, Edgecombe and Mitchell, right there. So looking at the players that played the best. So the question is on who is the best player of the night? Going once, going twice. I hope the comments are coming through. So I'm going to reveal him before I show you the best players of the night. So the best player there is Cade Cunningham. Scored 21 points in the game, 6 rebounds, 18 assists. I'm sure that was the combination between him and Duran in the game. This was awesome, and of course, a total of 72 fantasy points on the night. So if you guessed Kate Cunningham, you got it right. There he is. He was on fire. All right, so look at how the game week went. Of course, we saw Giannis Antetokounmpo in the front court. There is Jared Butler, the one I was telling you about. Between him and Curry, he's cheaper. He's a better, well-rounded player. You would be better off to opt for him than the premium player in Stephen Curry. Yet the returns in fantasy are not worth it. Giannis Antetokounmpo, both a premium and a reliable, well-rounded player. He's a very good one. Alpen Şengün in third place, Paulo Banchero in fourth place, and of course the Duran boy in fifth place because of the assists that Cade Cunningham was giving him. All right, Cade Cunningham led the way, of course, this time round with 72 points. Jackson in Indiana Pacers, Schroeder was good in this one, LaMelo Ball, and of course D'Angelo Russell. That is the backcourt for you right there. So game week 2 is actually wrapping up. We're just left with one set of games, which will begin day 7, and it's going to be interesting. I have fielded the full team, but of course I have one player injured. So yeah, the most picked up players, Ryan Rollins is still leading the way, and people are actually rushing to get Luka into their squads. Tyrese Maxey is very good, like I told you. He's leading the way in the NBA with the most points per game scored, which is at 35.2. Yeah, even ahead of Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is at 34.2, and Shea 34.2. They are tied in second place right there. And of course, guess who is in fourth place? You cannot guess who that is. That is actually Larry Markkinen, right ahead of Austin Reeves, who is at 32.0. Then Jalen Brunson in sixth place at 31.2. Those are the highest scoring players in the NBA at the moment. All right. Then, of course, people are getting rid of Steph Curry. There you go. I made the math for you. Steph Curry is a premium player, but he's not all-rounded. He will score, but remember, he's a shooter. And being a shooter is inconsistent. He can have good days and then bad days. So he's a seesaw. He's not reliable. Whereas Giannis Antetokounmpo, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is good with his mid-range shot, and he has mastered it. Chances are are very low that he will not be consistent. So yeah, these are the players they are getting rid of. Actually, even Austin Reeves is getting rid of, which means it's going to impact his value. Oh, I hope I don't lose out in value. So yeah, we have some players who are out. Trey Young, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid is actually gone, which is good for Edgecombe. So this is good for Edgecombe. So yeah, let these old guards go away and let the young ones take over. So that is it. I think that concludes our session today. That is, let me just show you my squad, my lineup that I am going with. I was contemplating of bringing in, but no, I think we want to wait for the deadline and then bring them in first thing before the price rises. All right, that is it I had for you today. Until next time, enjoy yourselves. Peace out.